Thanks, David. The school board in Manitowoc could make major changes to its leadership team tonight based on a plan proposed by the new superintendent.
Or some parents are upset, saying that the changes are taking place without adequate public feedback. Jason Zimmerman has been looking into the issue this afternoon. He's live now in Manitowoc with what he's learned. Jason.
Bill, the superintendent was hired in June and the assistant superintendent just recently. Some parents now alleging that there was not an adequate search to fill either of those positions conducted by the school board. Tonight, a restructuring of the central office is on the agenda. This involves eliminating some leadership positions and adding others. Now, in a memo just recently sent out by Superintendent James File, he said that the changes are necessary to improve student performance scores. However, all discussions took place in closed session meetings. One parent that we spoke to requested emails that show that File and Assistant Superintendent Jamie McCall had discussions about the restructuring before she was even hired. This includes allowing McCall to write her own job description. Now, the two previously worked together in Michigan.
I think they need to back up. think they need to slow down. I think it's the board's job to meet the community in the middle and not the parents' job to do so. We want transparency, we want ethical behavior, and we want a law-abiding board who follows the rules.
The board president told us in an email just a short time ago that the board did consult with legal counsel prior to setting those closed session meetings as closed. Now, he said the reason for not having a public discussion was because it involved personnel. The meeting tonight starts at 6 o'clock, and we'll have an update at 10. Reporting live in Manitowoc, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.